When a manager proudly boasts that their operational process achieved a 99% quality rating, it sounds like an incredible milestone.
But in the world of high-end business, 99% is often a management failure.
In a multi-million-dollar operation, that single percent translates into tens of thousands of angry customers and staggering defect costs. To truly understand your performance, you must ditch simple percentages and start mastering yield, PPM, and DPMO. This is the only definitive way to convert your process quality into an absolute Sigma level. Section 1. Deconstructing the metrics. So let's start with yield. Think of this as your baseline. Yield is simply the percentage of products or services that roll through your entire process defect-free the very first time. In Lean Six Sigma, we call this first time right? So if your process nails it 99% of the time, your yield is 0.99. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It feels safe. But honestly, as a standalone metric, yield is dangerously superficial. To see exactly why it's so superficial, we've got to scale things up using our second metric, PPM, which stands for parts per million. The formula here standardizes your defect rate. You take your total number of defects, divided by the total number of products, and then multiply the whole thing by 1 million. What this does is ask a totally ruthless question from the customer's point of view. If we scale our current process up to 1 million units, how many defective products are actually going to hit the market? And this perfectly illustrates the trap. When you put these two figures side by side, the reality really sets in. That quote-unquote beautiful 99% yield actually means a shocking 10,000 defective parts per million, 10,000 failures, 10,000 instances of a customer opening up a flawed product. Suddenly, that 99% doesn't look like much of a milestone, does it? It literally looks like a massive operational liability. Which brings us to our third metric, the absolute holy grail of Lean Six Sigma, DPMO, or defects per million opportunities. Now, the crucial difference here is that DPMO looks way beyond just the finished product. It zeroes in on the specific number of defect criteria per unit. Look at it this way. If a product can go wrong on 4 specific critical criteria, then that one single product has 4 distinct opportunities to fail. By taking the number of defects, dividing it by the total products multiplied by the opportunities per product, and then scaling that to 1 million, DPMO gives us the absolute highest resolution picture of process quality possible. Moving on to our practical case, BlueprintRM&co. Now, abstract formulas are great for textbooks, but to see how this becomes a highly profitable management tool, let's look at a practical scenario. Imagine BlueprintRM&co, a company shipping really expensive design gadgets. For them, an order is only considered a defect if something goes wrong on one of 3 critical quality opportunities. 1. Is the correct product packed? 2. Is the address label printed correctly? And 3. Is the anti-theft seal applied undamaged? These are the 3 critical to quality metrics, the CTQs, that actually matter to the customer. Let's look at the hard numbers from a recent operational run. Say we ship a volume of 10,000 orders. After inspection, we uncover the following defects. 50 wrong products were packed. There were 70 printing errors on the address labels and 30 broken anti-theft seals. So we add all that up and it gives us a grand total of 150 defects across the logistics line. Okay, watch how a Six Sigma black belt analyzes this. First up, we need to calculate the total opportunities. We have our 10,000 orders, and remember, there are exactly 3 critical opportunities for failure per order. So 10,000 multiplied by 3 gives us exactly 30,000 total opportunities. Simple enough, right? This number becomes the denominator for our Holy Grail formula. Now, we just plug our case study's hard numbers directly into the DPMO formula. We take our 150 actual defects, divide that by our 30,000 total opportunities, and multiply that fraction by 1 million. The mathematical tension is really building here. What is the true absolute quality level of BlueprintRM&co's shipping line? 5,000. That is our DPMO. For every 1 million opportunities to make a mistake in packing, labeling, or sealing, this process is going to fail exactly 5,000 times. It's a hyper-precise, undeniable metric of your process capability, determining the Sigma level. But what does 5,000 DPMO actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, to make this data actionable for leadership, we use the standard Six Sigma conversion table. Now, crucially, this table accounts for the standard 1.5 sigma shift that naturally occurs in practically all processes over time. When we look up our 5,000 DPMO on this table, we see it translates to a sigma level of approximately 4.1.
And hey, you can also see our earlier 99% yield illusion sitting much further down at roughly 3.8 sigma.
So the crucial takeaway here is that at 4.1 sigma, Blueprint RM&Co is definitely on the right track. It's a decent operational baseline. But let's be brutally honest for a second. It is still far removed from the official 6 sigma standard. True 6 sigma status allows for only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. Blueprint RM&Co still has a lot of variance to eliminate before they reach world-class perfection. Which brings us to the strategic value.
You might be wondering, why does all this rigorous math even matter? Why can't we just stick to simple percentages and call it a day? Because DPMO and the Sigma level give executive leadership a literal superpower, the ability to mathematically compare the performance of vastly different departments. Think about it. How do you compare the efficiency of a complex physical packing line with the performance of the billing department or the ticket resolution rate of an IT help desk? They do completely different things. But by defining the specific opportunities for a defect in each department, DPMO creates a universal language of quality. It's an absolute apples-to-apples comparison across the entire enterprise.
And this brings us to our ultimate conclusion. By mastering yield, PPM, and especially DPMO, quality becomes universally standardizable. You are no longer managing by gut feeling or misleading percentages. You are turning raw statistics into an absolute strategic imperative for operational excellence. You can pinpoint exactly where your business is failing and mathematically track your entire journey to 6 Sigma perfection.
That wraps up our explainer on the absolute necessity of rigorous metric tracking. Take these formulas, apply them to your own processes, and never settle for the 99% illusion again, for education and entertainment.